Joining us tonight to discuss whether the Republican Party of both houses is capable of delivering on their long-held promise to repeal Obamacare, Congressman Jim Jordan joins us tonight, a member of the Freedom Caucus, co-founder of the caucus. He serves on both the Judiciary and Oversight Committees. Congressman, great to have you with us.
Good to be with you.
What are the implications of the inability of Leader McConnell to bring off that vote before Independence Day?
I think that the irony here is that how closely the process in the Senate has mirrored what happened in the House. We had a delay in the vote, had to go home for a recess. Some members got together and we were able to come back and pass it. So I think and I hope that same process plays out now with United States Senate, because we need to get this done. We need to get it done in a way that brings down premiums, that keeps the pro-life protections in, but we need to get it done. So let's hope it plays out like it did in the House.
Lowering premiums, moving the program ahead. All of this sounds remarkably familiar. And the discussion for 6 years has been precisely that. And the Republican Party in both houses seems incapable of coming up with prescriptions that meet those basic, simple goals.
I wish, I still think we'll get it done. I hope we do. That's what we told the American people we were going to do. In hindsight, I wish we'd have done it different. I wish we'd have done, and this sounds like a sort of an I told you so, but I wish we would have done it like the Freedom Caucus wanted. We should have done it in 2 bills. We should have had a clean replace. In fact, I introduced that legislation, a clean replacement bill, then a separate, a clean repeal legislation, and then a separate replacement bill. I wish we'd have done it that way. Unfortunately, we didn't. Now here we are. Let's understand what we sent out of the House wasn't full repeal, but it was the best we were going to get. We know as conservatives we made that bill better during that debate. Let's hope the same thing plays out in the Senate over the next week or so, and we come back and get this job done.
And then there's the matter of tax reform.
Right.
So everyone's petard is hoisting away here. And it looks like the leadership is at best half committed to getting this done. And frankly, I don't see why in the world you all in the House are putting up with Speaker, the leadership team, I'll put it that way, kindly. And I don't understand why the Senate is putting up with that leadership team if they cannot deliver.
Well, we are going to deliver. I mean, the tax reform has to get done. To get to a 3% growth rate, you can't have this ridiculous tax code we currently have. But we need to do it right. And you and I have talked. We need to do it in a way that's not revenue neutral. Revenue neutral, remember, that's a fancy way of saying the burden stays the same. We just shift around who pays what. Right. And under that scenario, we know what happens. The connected class gets a good deal.
I mean, you've got you're the chairman of the Powerful Ways and Means Committee. Kevin Brady committed to a 20% import tax. You've got that commitment from the Speaker. I mean, what in the world is it going to take to bring... I mean, if these people are not blocking intentionally any progress on the president's agenda, I don't know what it would look like.
You're exactly right. We need to get rid of this BAT tax. Again, the connected class may like it. Middle class families don't, because it's going to drive up prices for everything. So let's get rid of it. Did voters send Republicans to Congress to put a new tax on the American economy and to increase spending? I don't think so. So let's just get away from some of the things that are being talked about in the budget process, get away from this idea that there's going to be a new tax put on the American people called the BAT. Let's just say, no, that's not going to happen, and then let's get on with the right kind of tax reform, which is letting families keep more of their money, lowering the corporate rates, and creating a tax code that actually is conducive to producing jobs and producing economic growth. That's what we should focus on, plain and simple.
And what are the odds that's going to happen?
I think it is. I mean, we're committed in the Freedom Caucus to pushing that kind of agenda. We're going to continue to push and talk about it. We've been talking about this for 5 weeks. Let's do a budget that actually has the right kind of reconciliation instructions that will control spending, get the tax bill moving. Let's get that done. We've been talking about it for a long time and pushing for it. I think we're going to get there at some point, but that's what we got to focus on.
And why don't we look over our shoulder across the way to the Senate? It doesn't look like they're anywhere near the shape the Congress is in terms of coming to a level of support for health care repeal and replacement. The Senate version, where do we go from there? Because then you have the recess when you come back, July 10th. You have about 14 days before going off into the August recess.
Well, remember what we've called for. look, we've called for being here in August. Freedom Caucus, we took a position as a group. We said, look, if we're not getting this stuff done, if we're not making the kind of progress that the American people elected us to do, elected us to accomplish, if that's not happening, let's stay here and get it done. We've been clear about that. We've been talking about it, and frankly, the American people support it because they elected us to do certain things. And, you know, I say all the time, we make this job too complicated. Our job's pretty simple. Do what we said we would do. And if that means being here in August, we should do it.
And will you?
Yes, I'm willing to do it. Like I said, we've taken a position.
I know you are, and I know the Freedom Caucus is.
Well, yep, you got to talk to the Speaker and the Majority Leader. They set the schedule, not the Freedom Caucus.
Two of my favorite things to do. We'll just do that. Congressman Jim Jordan, thanks for being with us.